Hello guys, welcome to the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. Today I'm going to talk about enlightenment in general and make a wrap up and explain it in simple terms. It's a very vast field, but the principle involved are actually fairly simple. So first thing, why enlightenment? There is common sense, there is religion, and there is enlightenment. Why do people go to enlightenment? Or why should they? And it comes down to one thing, one question. And that question is, are there other realities or not? If you believe or if you think this reality we see is the only one, well, you don't need enlightenment. You don't need and you don't want enlightenment. If you think there are other realities, then the step to enlightenment is natural. So what makes us think that there may be other realities? And I like to think of it like this. Planetary life is a game. It's like an RPG game. And our body-mind is our spacesuit, and our ego is our avatar. So we enter the game, and we live through it, and then we die, and then we return where we came from. And then maybe next time we have another game. So we can have as many shots as the planetary life as we like. But as we play this game over and over, and I think it takes like 100 or 200 incarnations to come to this point where we suddenly, or where we slowly become conscious of the fact that this is a game. Yes, that we are on a trip. And I use the word trip by purpose because the planetary game for souls, the planetary game is highly addictive. We have all these feelings, we experience these needs, we experience pain and pleasure, we experience all these desires, we experience success and all these things. This is super addictive to the soul, which has experienced nothing of the sort from where it comes from. But as we play this game over and over, things start getting repetitive. Experiences are getting repetitive. We grow out of experiences, and things get a little boring. Okay, and the addiction slowly starts to diminish, and it dawns on us that we are on a trip here. And yes, it's just a feeling, it's a hunch, but it's a growing feeling that grows with more and more certainty. And we realize there is something else going on here. And that's the moment when we start asking the right questions. The principles of enlightenment. So, the first thing we need to understand is that we are immortal souls. And as immortal souls, we have experiences. That's what this world is all about. Immortal souls having experiences. At the moment, we are having planetary experiences, which I compare to an RPG game. An immersive, game-like, trip-like experience. So if experiences are the soul's business, then the evolution of experience is the most important thing that's going on. Why? Because experiences get boring. And of course we can try many different kind of experiences, but again, they will get boring and we run out of experiences. Okay? And this means that in order to keep the experience game going, we need to put our experiences on a higher level. Yeah? We need to evolve our capacity to experience. And since it's our mind that experiences, we cannot evolve our capacity to experience if we do not evolve our mind. Evolve our thinking, evolve our feeling, our capacity to imagine. And that's where enlightenment comes in. Enlightenment is a process that increases our capacity to experience. And this is a benevolent cycle. Yeah? So we evolve the mind a little. The mind can experience more. The greater experiences evolve our mind again, which evolves our capacity to experience. We have greater experiences, and so on and so on. And the enlightenment is this benevolent cycle, or rather upward spiral, a process. There are 7 great levels or phases of enlightenment, which I want to touch upon now. The first one is common sense, or I call it common sense. This is basically the normal life we are used to in this planetary RPG game. So it involves our career, experience of success, relationships, family, fun, wealth, and so on. This level is, as I said before, very addictive, and it keeps us very busy, and we do not at this point question the reality we live in. Yeah, we think this is the only reality there is. But as the soul gets older and older and has more and more experiences and more incarnations, there comes the point when the soul awakens to the fact that this life is just a game and a trip. And it awakens to other realities and the totality of itself, which means the higher aspect of itself, the soul, the higher self, and whatever is above the higher self. Okay. This awakening can come in 2 ways. It can be that somebody simply tells us that there are other realities and higher aspects of ourselves, and if our soul is ready to grasp this truth, we will simply accept it. Or we have some kind of an enlightenment experience, a short vision of another reality, or a short vision of a higher aspect of ourselves. And although these occurrences last mostly just a few seconds, they are so overwhelming that we instantly awaken to the fact that there is much more to life than meets the eye. After our awakening, we enter a very, very long phase, which I call revelation. So after we had our enlightenment awakening, we start asking questions. We read a lot, we learn, we study, and maybe even get a guru or join an organization or like a group of people. So this is a calm period of reading, listening, thinking, meditating, and so on. So it's a phase of learning the theory, more or less. Yeah? But it's also a little bit practical, because during that time when we learn new wisdom, we have to reorganize our body of thought and our body of feeling. Okay. So we adopt our body of thought to enlightenment principles and replace common sense. Yeah. And we also put things in order in our mind. Yeah. So, for example, one of the first things we learn to replace is the common sense notion that nature is very competitive. Yeah, and it will be replaced with the enlightenment principle that life is one. Yeah. And according to this new principle, there are a lot of thoughts and ideas and notions that have to go. Yeah. We also, at this point, we also put our life in order. Yeah, so we start pursuing enlightenment, which is new. We start pursuing our heart's desire more actively and arrange our life according to these two great purposes, enlightenment and the heart's desire, and create some kind of a hierarchy of needs where enlightenment and the heart's desire are on top. We also put our relationships in order, meaning we surround us with positive people and people who are interested into enlightenment. And that also means we have to let go of certain relationships which were not bad per se, but which are holding us now back, which are a handbrake, and which we need to leave behind. So this is this phase of revelation, and it kind of creates a circle together with the awakening phase. So we have the great awakening that there are other realities and the totality of ourselves, and then we learn things, and then we learn new things, and these new things give us another small awakening to wisdom or truth, and that again allows us to expand our horizon and learn more about enlightenment, and then we can find something that gives us another little awakening, and so on and so on. So we have this benevolent cycle of awakening, revelation, awakening, and revelation. So after we learned the theory, more or less, and aligned our thinking and feeling with enlightenment principles, we come to the point where we can begin the great work. And it's not theoretical, it's very practical. Okay? And it aims at the modification of our body-mind vehicle and the transformation of our body-mind vehicle, of our spacesuit, into something else. So nature evolved the human race over millions of years to the stage of Homo sapiens. This is the last step. This is as far as nature can go. And Homo sapiens as a race, and that includes all variations of Homo sapiens, is already perfect for 50,000 years and cannot be evolved any further. The evolution of our body-mind vehicle from Homo sapiens to Homo spiritualis is an individual evolution. We complete the evolution. We continue where nature left off. Yeah. So this new spacesuit that we are building over decades and maybe a couple of lifetimes has fascinating abilities. And Jesus and Buddha can give you an idea of what those abilities entail. But in principle, the purpose of this new body-mind vehicle is very simple. Yeah? So remember, we are souls who have planetary experiences, but when we are born, we start as a baby. Yeah, so the soul merges with the avatar. When the child is conceived, the soul merges with the avatar, and it goes unconscious for 9 months. And then it's born, and then it slowly regains its consciousness over a period of, let's say, 3 to 5 years, until the self-conscious awareness of the soul has evolved far enough. And then it begins to download the wisdom it acquired through past incarnations and marries it with the knowledge which is available to it. Yeah, so that's a very tedious process. Yeah, and we have to start from scratch every time. So the main purpose of the new or evolved body-mind vehicle is to circumvent that, and it entails, above all, the ability to incarnate without going through this birth cycle. Yeah, this is the freedom from the incarnation cycle. Is not that we go somewhere off into heaven. No, it means we can control it the way we want it. Yeah? And we can choose. Do we want to incarnate? Yes or no? We can choose it, because we also got rid of our addiction. So the great work is secret work, and we cannot read about this. Yeah? There are no books who detail this. There are some, but they are full of blinds, and some of them are even false. So if you want to perform the great work, you have to find someone who really knows about it, because you're going pro, so to say. And you can't really go pro by just reading some books. You have to have someone who trains you. And if you are interested in the great work, this is not what I cover in the Inspiration and Enlightenment Workshop. I only cover the first 2 phases of enlightenment, which is awakening and revelation. So if you are interested in the great work, you can shoot me an email and I will let you know where you can do that. Okay. So maybe another comparison between revelation and the great work is that revelation is more like a reconfiguration, while the great work is a work of transformation. So you also need to be ready to really change. Yeah, here the change becomes serious. The next phase of enlightenment is illumination. So when when there's sufficient transformation through the great work, and the body-mind vehicle is prepared enough to access other realities and the higher aspects of ourself. Yeah, when that work is done, or when enough of that work is done, the soul will recollect the higher self. And that's the phase of illumination, the realization of the higher self. It's a milestone, yeah, but it's also a phase, because the higher self has multiple spheres. It's not just one sphere, it's made of multiple spheres, and in the phase of illumination we get access to its various higher spheres. Okay. There are 2 more steps or phases of enlightenment. The next one is transfiguration, which is basically the completion of the great work, when our body-mind vehicle is transfigured into something else and we get free access to other realities, or unrestricted access to other realities. And the last phase is cosmic consciousness, when our consciousness reunites with the Creator which you can think of as the higher self of the higher self. Thank you for watching this episode of the Inspiration and Enlightenment Slow Talk. Please help spreading the light with a like and a share, and don't forget to subscribe. Love and light.